All right, so I'm sick right now. Voice ain't working too good. So here's a collection of some of my best blue-collar ranking videos that you can listen to while you work or drive or just kill time or even sleep.
All right, we're going to rank blue-collar lunches from rock bottom all the way up to goated. Let's get right into it, y'all. First one on my list, we got leftover pizza. Now, leftover pizza, one of my all-time favorites. I don't know what it is about. Now, pizza's good hot, but cold pizza has a special place in my heart, man, especially for lunch the next day. Sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, this ain't very often. Sometimes I wake up excited to go to work, and it's usually the days when I know I got some leftover pizza in the refrigerator, and I'm gonna be able to take that shit to work. And I ain't gonna lie, that shit ain't gonna make it to lunch. I'm gonna be eating on it all day. If I know it's in my truck or wherever for the day, I'm gonna be sneaking to that bitch all day, eating it from breakfast to lunch, and then I'm gonna be pissed off at lunch because then I'm going to have to either buy another lunch or I'm going to have to eat some bullshit. I also seen somebody get slapped with a piece of cold leftover pizza one morning. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen. They had been arguing for a few days and it finally come to a head. They were arguing that morning. The one guy was eating and he just reared back with that pizza and then they went at it. Well, it was the funniest shit ever, dude. And also, I had a coworker one time that would carry around a piece of old leftover pizza in his hoodie pocket. And he would take it out of his hoodie pocket throughout the day and just snack on it and just eat on it throughout the day. And we worked in the oil fields, dude. We were disgusting all day. Shit was fun. So yeah, leftover pizza holds a special place in my heart. So I think we're going to have to put pizza. That's right. Leftover pizza is going to go into good. Y'all thought I was going to put it in goated, didn't y'all? Bologna sandwich. They're like a pretty decent third or fourth cousin. We've all had them. We all love/hate them. We're all sick of them, but it's always there when you need it. It's always something you can fall back on when you need it, man. Man, it gets old, though. It's one of them things that gets old, and you got to choke that motherfucker down. Like, once you know that you're done with them, you know you're done with them. When you start having to choke the shit down, you're like, okay, it's time for a different lunch. So let's put bologna sandwich in. We're going to put that in does the job. It could go in broke week. It just depends on the situation. But I'm going to put it in does the job because a lot of people eat bologna even when they're not having a broke week, man, because they just like to eat a bologna sandwich every now and then. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let's move on to the next one on the list. We got burger and fries. Now, in most situations, this is either going to be a fast food burger and fries or a leftover burger and fries. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could grill them on location. This is a vague, it's just burger and fries is all my list says. I didn't think it through like that. I'm going to assume it's probably like a fast food burger and fries. That's a decent lunch. Obviously not the most healthy lunch. Nothing on this fucking list is going to be a healthy lunch. I'm going to just go ahead and throw that out there. But for a burger and fries, and assuming it's the fast food version, maybe it's a local mom and pop restaurant, a little shack. Those are better to me than the fast food taste-wise and all most of the time. We're going to put burger and fries. I'm going to put it in good. Most of us are lucky to get a hot meal. And burger and fries is usually going to be a hot meal, whether it comes from fucking McDonald's or a mom and pop shop. Even a leftover burger and fries and all, man, it is pretty good. We're going to stick that in good. We're going to move on. From burger and fries, we got Vienna sausages and crackers, lunch of champions. I have seen people eat this shit for breakfast too, but this is a lunch for real men right here, big dog. Vienna and crackers, you either having a fucking rough-ass week, you waiting on payday, or you in a hurry on the job site, and you gotta just throw it down the hatch. I got so good at eating weenies back then, dude, just eating so many weenies because we would always be in such a fucking hurry. We'd have like 5 minutes to take lunch, man. Me and my coworkers, dude, we would have contests to see who could eat the most weenies in the shortest amount of time. Just eating so many weenies and crackers during my time on workover rigs in the oil field. I physically cannot eat Viennies anymore. I will choke, dude. I can't. I will have to force them down if I tried to eat them. I have tried to eat them a few times recently. I can't do it. I gotta put Vienna weenies in, I'm gonna have to put that in broke week. Most people, if they're decent with their money, most people are gonna bring a better lunch than Viennies and crackers. Next on the list is barbecue plate. Man, I love it when the situation arises at work where somebody either brings you a barbecue plate or you can go get your own barbecue plate. Back when I was on the rigs, man, every now and then, one of the third-party hands or third-party companies would buy our lunches, and it would be a barbecue plate. Oh, my God. Those were the best fucking days. All right, after I ate, now I was so full and stuffed, I wasn't worth the shit. Couldn't do anything after, especially in the summertime. So after being full, I fit right in with the third-party hands because they normally didn't do shit, you know, maybe some drugs or whatever. Pretty sure all their applications were passed out in prison and jail, maybe at drug courts and shit, because all them motherfuckers usually were pretty strung out. But I never passed up on the opportunity to smash a barbecue plate. I didn't care if it was 105 degrees outside. The whole plate is getting ate. It's not getting wasted because those days didn't come very often. So I'm putting a barbecue plate for lunch and goated. Goated! If you got a good barbecue place around, you can get a good barbecue plate for lunch. It's got to go and goated. Moving on from the barbecue plate, we got a gas station hot dog. I have a hate-love relationship with gas station hot dogs as well. Most of the time, a gas station hot dog, for some reason, gives me the ability to shit through a screen door. And it's like a superpower. They will get you by. They do the job. I know some of y'all out there don't even chew them. You just throw them right on down the hatch, back to back to back, no chewing whatsoever, toppings and all, just Not me, though. They rough on your stomach, dude. You should not be eating a lot of them back to back. I think a gas station hot dog is going to go in, does the job. I wouldn't eat too many of them back to back. I know some of y'all young guys out there, or younger than me guys out there, that's probably all you motherfuckers eat. For me, I know some of y'all are going to be like, it needs to be ungoated. I love a gas station hot dog. Yeah, well, we're going to move on from gas station hot dog. We got taco leftovers. Or leftover tacos. And I'm not talking about the kind of taco you eat whenever you get up from the chair that's in the corner of the room. Leftover tacos can be good if you got a way to heat them up, which most of the time you do. So, you know, you can put it in the dash, turn the heat on, you can put it on the engine, you know, on the block or whatever, and let the truck heat it up. If you got an opportunity to heat these tacos up, they can be really good. I mean, it can be a decent lunch. But I'm going to put taco in good because most of the time, tacos are going to be really good. Moving on from tacos, we got beef jerky. We've all seen these motherfuckers that just straight up eat beef jerky for lunch. Some guys probably just jerky their beef for lunch. That was horrible. A lot of guys eat beef jerky for lunch every day. I've seen it many times. Dude just coming to work. He's hitting the gas station in the morning. He's getting him a couple of Monster energy drinks, and he's getting a bag of beef jerky, and that's what that sumbitch is eating every day. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to spend $8 to $10 or $12, however much it is for a bag of beef jerky, because that shit's expensive, I would much rather buy some real food, right? So I do understand if you don't have the opportunity to leave your job site to go get real food, but if you got the opportunity to leave your job site and go get real food and you buying beef jerky every day, you spending all that money on a bag of fucking... And beef jerky's good, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying you could do better. It's expensive. Or at least prep your lunch the night before. Like, buy something good and prep it the night before if you're going to spend that much money on it. But, man, we got motherfuckers that come to work every day with a bag of beef jerky, a couple of energy drinks, and they good to go. Hey, fuck it, you know? To each their own, dude. It gets the job done. So we're going to put beef jerky in gets the job, or does the job. Putting beef jerky in does the job, because it does do the job. And I have my days where it's just a bag of beef jerky. That's fine with me. I can't do it every day. For one thing, I mean, damn, I'd go broke as hell buying that shit every fucking day. But we're going to move on from beef jerky, and we've got fried chicken. Oh, I used to love the days, similar to the barbecue plate, when I worked on the rigs and third-party hands would show up with some fucking KFC or some Popeyes or just some fried chicken from somewhere. Oh my God, dude, we was in heaven. We didn't know what to do, man. We ate so much fucking chicken. Dude, the Popeyes biscuits in 110-degree weather. Brother, I understand what these third world countries that don't have clean drinking water feel like. You've never been truly thirsty until you've had one of those biscuits in 110-degree weather and the humidity of Mississippi. A lot of the times, if they brought us Popeyes, they'd bring them peppers too, and I had to eat them peppers, dude, and I'd be in the woods for the rest of the day just shitting my fucking brains out. But it ain't my fault. I mean, if you brought the peppers, you can't expect me to not eat them. You brought them, and then if it whatever it does to me is just what it does to me, brother. If I can't work for the rest of the day, it is what it is, big dog. Man, I love some fried chicken for lunch, dude. It's honestly one of the best lunches to me. We're going to put fried chicken up there with the barbecue plate, we're going to put that in goated. Fried chicken is goated, man. It can't be leftover fried chicken, though. That's a no-no. In my opinion, that's a no-no. No leftover fried chicken. We're going to move on from the fried chicken. And on the list, we got Subway sandwiches. I love a good Subway sandwich. I can eat a Subway sandwich 2-3 days in a row. I can do it up to 3 days in a row. I can eat at Subway. Now, and they have a variety of sandwiches. Now, I'm the type of guy, I don't really diversify my sandwiches from Subway. I normally just get a club and load that motherfucker down with everything they got in the kitchen. And I can do it 3 times in a row. I've done it many times, and then I got to take a break before, I'll burn out on it. So I love a good Subway sandwich. We're going to put Subway sandwich in good. We're going to put it in good. It could go in goated, but at the end of the day, it is just a sandwich. At the end of the day's going to end. Anyway, putting Subway sandwiches in good, man. I love a good Subway sandwich. Some Subway sandwiches are nasty. You ever go to one of them Subways and they fix it? So there is a Subway up where I work. There's 3 or 4 Subways in the area that I cover. But there's a Subway up where I work. They don't fix it like a sandwich. They fix it like you would fix a hot dog. And I don't like my Subway sandwiches fixed like that. So they turn the bread like that, like it would be like hot dog buns. Instead of flat, putting everything on the flat part of the bun, they turn it like a hot dog, and then they put the meat and the cheese in there, and then they put everything on top of that like a hot dog. So then when I go to eat it, everything is just on one side, and it really fucking pisses me off. And you would think I would learn my lesson, but I keep going back to that place. At least every 3 weeks I go back. I'm like, I'm gonna try them again. The last time I went there, they done the same shit, pissed me off. I don't know why I don't say something. I could say, ma'am, could you fix it on the flat part? But I don't want to piss them off. I don't like pissing anybody off that messes with my food. Even though I'm sitting there watching them make the sandwich, I still just, what if I blink and she's like, right? And I don't want none of them nasty at. Let me refrain from saying that. I don't want anybody at Subway doing anything to my food. And also the bread was hard the last time I went. Like it was just like crunchy. And it was like a hot dog and crunchy. All the meat's on one side. Everything else is on the other side. It was a mess. I'm never going back to that Subway. That was my last time. But anyway, my rant about that Subway is over. We're going to move on to the next thing on my list. And the next thing is a microwave burrito. I have ate a few microwavable burritos before that you can buy at the gas stations or you can buy them at a Walmart. They're not bad if you do work at a place where you have a microwave and you can heat them up. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I can do it once or twice a week. There was just one time when I was going to start saving money. Like I said, with my job I have now, most of the time I'm able to go get me a lunch wherever I want to go get it from, right? There was a time when I was going to start saving money and I prepped myself up a bunch of burritos. So the 5-layer beefy burritos from Taco Bell, I made a bunch of homemade ones and I froze them in the freezer and I ate them for like a week and a half straight every day for lunch. I just sat them on the engine and under the hood of the truck, let them heat up for about 10 to 15 minutes. And man, they were good for about a week. Honestly, they really were. And after that, they started tasting. You just get burnt out. You can't eat the same thing every day. You get so burnt out on it, and it's frustrating. You get to where you're having to choke it down. And we're going to put a microwave burrito because most of the time, they're kind of shitty, honestly. A microwave burrito, we'll put it in does the job. All right, they do the job no matter where you get them from. If you can heat them up, they do the job. If it's a cold burrito, that would be rock bottom because that shit's disgusting cold, man. I don't think anybody's eating them cold anyway. But we're going to move on from a microwave burrito. We got wife's home-cooked leftovers. I'm going to base this off of my wife's cooking. I don't know about y'all's wife's cooking or your girlfriend's cooking or your whatever your partner's cooking. I'm basing this off of my wife's cooking, and I'm going to go ahead and rank it up there to go to. Anytime I bring leftovers from my wife's home cooking, I know it's going to be a nice balanced meal, a nice piece of meat with some veggies, man. Mashed potatoes and gravy. Stuff like that, dude. Now, if you live with Methany, Heranesia, or whatever the hell, and she's cooking you some dry-ass macaroni, trying to pack you a lunch and shit, you might want to put your wife's home cooking in rock bottom. And you might want to get a divorce and find a new wife, in my opinion. And the next one is canned raviolis. I have 8 canned raviolis and the canned spaghetti and all that stuff. Many, many times we would take the cans, set them on the dash, like in the early mornings, and by lunchtime, most of the time, like in the summertime, they would be heated up. They'd be hot, scalding hot. You'd open the can, get your fork, and eat it straight out the can. Sometimes you eat it cold, you know, in the wintertime. It don't really heat up a lot. You can use the defrost a lot of times to heat them up, but sometimes we didn't. We just ate the shit cold, man. It sucked a lot of the time. But raviolis, better than nothing, dude. It does get the job done. With that being said, raviolis, we're going to go with does the job. It could also go in broke week. It could go in broke week, right? Because compared to, other than the bologna, compared to everything else on this list, I think raviolis going in broke week. It's going in broke week. No, it's going and does the job. It's going and does the job. All right, because a lot of people ain't broke. A lot of the times I wasn't broke, and I still bought raviolis and ate the shit just because it's a quick lunch, and it's not bad. It's really not that bad. It does the job. So moving on from canned raviolis, we got a ham and cheese sandwich. Same with the bologna, and same with the hot dog. I have a hate-love relationship with a ham and cheese sandwich. Similar to the bologna sandwich, the ham and cheese sandwich is kind of like an ugly stepsister. We've all ate them. We've all had them many times. It's something you can fall back on, just like the bologna sandwich, when you are tired of everything else, or you just want something quick, or you may be trying to save a little money. Ham and cheese sandwich is always there for you. You can put different stuff on it if you want mustard, mayonnaise on it. You can do lettuce, tomatoes, stuff like that with a ham and cheese sandwich. Usually goes better with ham and cheese than it does with bologna. So we're going to put a ham and cheese sandwich. Well, I reckon we're going to have to put it in the same place we have bologna. We're going to put it right beside the bologna sandwich because it does the job. It could go in broke week, but honestly, anybody who's making a ham and cheese sandwich for lunch, most blue collar men, the ham and cheese sandwiches, they're going to be well, let me move that out of my face. Most blue collar men, if they're making their own sandwiches, they're going to be that damn thick full of ham. So you're not saving any money. So it's not for broke week. So I'm going to put it up there and does the job. It is a little cheaper than some of this other stuff that's above, right? But it does the job. So let's move from ham and cheese sandwich. We got energy drinks and cigarettes. Well, I have seen many, many people eat these lunches. Some of these coworkers eat this type of lunch because they spend all their money on a different type of consumable. You know, they usually come in little orange bottles. Most of us have to get prescriptions for, but they don't have the prescriptions for them, right? Sometimes it is very hot and you just don't feel like eating. I have experienced that, and I've seen many of my coworkers experience that. I can understand, yeah, maybe you're too hot to eat, but dude, you got to put something in your body, at least some fruit or some vegetables, something in your body when you're at work, or you're going to cramp up and freeze up and you're going to have to go to the hospital and all that bullshit. You don't want to have to do all of that. Energy drink and cigarettes, I got to put it at rock bottom. Some of y'all motherfuckers is going to want to put that at goated. Some people are going to want to put energy drinks and cigarettes at goated. I just can't. I don't smoke cigarettes, so I can't put it at goated. Surely there may come a day where I just have a cigarette for lunch. I may be stressed out, or something may happen. I got to have an energy drink and a cigarette. Maybe it's a good lunch for some people. And next on the list, we got beer. Believe it or not, I've seen plenty hands drink beer for lunch. Plenty of times, man. We went to restaurants before for lunch and they drink a few beers. I've seen hands sneak off into the woods, drink a few beers. I've seen hands just sit in the truck out in plain sight. And now I will not confirm nor deny. Have I done anything like that before? But I have seen plenty of people do it before, dude. I happen to personally believe that we should be allowed to drink beer at lunch. I personally believe we should be allowed to drink throughout the day. Catch a little buzz at work. I think that production would go up at least 100%, probably 200%. Think about how much better work would be if we could catch a good little buzz at work. All right? Some people would get wasted at work. You just throw them off to the side or whatever the hell and continue what you're doing. You're having a good time, brother. You're getting buzzed, man. All right? I don't understand why we can't do that. I don't understand what's so hard to understand about that. Just let us drink a few beers at work. It's no big deal. Beers for lunch has to go and goated. I'm sorry. All right, I know you want energy drinks and cigarettes to be ungoated. I just can't put that in goated. But if you're drinking some beers for lunch, that's got to be in goated, man. That's a cold lunch. That's a cold lunch, big dog. Fun fact: some of y'all don't know why my name on here is Cold Lunch. Well, when I first started the brand, I was thinking I like beer. I want this to be a lot about beer, and to me, a cold lunch is a beer. But also, I'm a blue-collar guy, and I've ate plenty of cold lunches, like actual real cold lunches at work, because a lot of us blue-collar guys eat a lot of cold lunches. Some of us can't eat hot lunches, so that's where the name Cold Lunch come from. I'm going to pull this up again just so y'all can see it. You can see the list here, big dog. We got the cold beer and goated and all these goated foods, man. I think this is a pretty good list here. I think it's pretty accurate. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Ranking excuses to call out of work. We've all done it. Wake up sometimes, you just don't feel like going. You don't want to do shit, so you call in. Stay home and drink a beer 12 or whatever the hell. Let's get into it. First on my list, we got house caught on fire. You call your boss, you sound panicked. Oh, house caught on fire. I'm not going to make it in. I'm thinking they've really got no choice but to let you off with that one. I mean, if your house caught on fire, they couldn't have expected you to get much sleep. If you're calling in saying my house is on fire, that's even more of a excuse, or a better excuse to let you off. You shouldn't be expected to go into work if your house is burnt to a fucking crisp. You know what I'm saying? What I'm thinking with that one is we're gonna put that one, house caught on fire. I'm gonna put it in S tier for now, because I think that's a pretty good excuse to take off. Imagine waking up and your fucking house is on fire. Yes, I ain't gotta go to work. But anyway, moving on. We got death in the family. Now this is one you can use over and over again. Your boss should not know any of your family. If your boss knows any of your family, you're too close to him. All right, back off of that. Don't let anybody know too much about your family, what's going on. They don't know how many cousins you have die. They don't know how many grandmas you have. They don't know how many family friends you have. And I had a death in the family. Didn't you just have a death in the family last week? Hell yeah, man. Death runs in the family. My family dies a lot. I'm thinking that death in the family, we're going to put that in S tier. We're going to put death in the family in S tier. You know what? We're going to move house fire into A tier, because it's a good one. But death in the family it never fails, dude. You know how guilty they would feel trying to make you come to work when you call them and tell them you have a death in the family? Come on, man. I can see some of them trying to make you come into work even though you had a house fire. I mean, I can see that. But number 3, we got dog funeral. Come on, man. We all love our dogs. Some of y'all love your dogs a little too much. Some of y'all love your dogs in an illegal way. Either way, man, if our dog dies, we need a couple of weeks off, maybe a month off or something like that. I don't know. Call in that morning and say, hey, man, got a dog funeral. You know, my dog got in the road, run over. A lot of blue-collar bosses really ain't going to give a flying fuck about your dog. And it may not work. Like, they may tell you to get your ass to work or find a new job. So I'm going to put that in C tier, because I just don't know how well that one's going to work. I don't think in my oil field job I used to work in, if I called and told them I had a dog funeral, they're going to be like, okay, and get your ass to work. You know, you got 5 minutes to get here, or we'll find somebody else who will get here. So, yeah, moving on from dog funeral. That one's ain't the best. Food poisoning. So if you call in and tell them you got food poisoning and tell them you're puking everywhere and you could probably shit through a screen door, and if you aimed up, you could probably be the volcano in your kid's science project, I think there's a good chance you're going to get off that day. I think that one is good to use every once in a while. Food poisoning is not one you can use a lot, I don't believe, because it will become suspicious. Now, some of y'all do have weak-ass stomachs, and if you build a reputation at your company for having a weak-ass stomach, you might actually be able to get away with food poisoning a good bit. But I'd say for most people, food poisoning isn't going to be that great of an excuse. But I do think it works better than a dog funeral. So we're going to put it in B tier. It's just one you got to use kind of seldom. Like I said, they'll get suspicious if you start having a lot of food poison. Maybe build it slowly over time. Like I said, so you have a reputation like, oh, you know, oh, Gavin, he gets food poison all the time, man. It's just, he has a weak stomach, poor guy. Moving on from food poison, we got kid is sick. This one is good, especially for women, because it's more, I don't know, I feel like it's more acceptable, right? Men, blue collar men or even white collar men, our bosses should also accept that excuse because we're fathers, we're dads. It's our kids. We're worried about them. Maybe the mom needs to go to work more than we do. Maybe she can't afford to miss work for whatever reason. She's got something important going on. I don't know, but it should really be a good excuse. And I think we're gonna put that in A because I do think kid being sick, it's one of them. They're not okay. If you call in and tell them your kid's sick, they're gonna believe you. But you can't overuse that one. Even though kids get sick a lot, believe me. All right, I got 3 of them. Little bastards stay sick. They cannot wait to catch the next fucking virus. Their immune system or whatever, it's seeking it. It seeks out the next sickness at school. It looks for it. So I'm gonna leave it in A because it's a pretty decent excuse, man. You can miss them. You can call in and tell them your kid's sick and stay home, drink a beer 12 or slam 30 of them, whatever you want to do, man. These are legit excuses that you can use even when they're not legit, right? So let's move on from kid is sick. A car won't start or vehicle won't start. More vaguely, a lot of us drive trucks. You can call in and tell them your vehicle won't start, and I do think that would work one time. But most of these companies are going to be expecting you to get that shit fixed or get some kind of solution going on for the next day. They going to want your ass at work. I think it'll work one time, and there's actually a lot of companies they'll fucking send somebody to come get your ass if your car won't start. It's happened before at a lot of jobs I've had. They will send them up. They will pay a motherfucker to go pick you up. You going to work. So I'm going to say car won't start. Our vehicle won't start. Let's put that one in B tier because it's just something I feel like it'll work one day, one time. And then they expect you to have a solution and you'll be lucky. It depends on who you're working for, I guess. You'll be lucky if they don't try to send somebody after you. Depending on where you live away from your coworkers and all that, what kind of relationship you have with the company. Because a lot of blue collar companies, especially the smaller ones, I'm telling you now, they send in a motherfucker to your house to pick you up. All right? It happens. All right, so we moving on from car won't start. We got flat tire. All right, I'm speaking to mostly men here. Most of my audience are men. At least my short form audience. You should know how to change a flat tire. Flat tire is not going to work. If you call in with a flat tire, you're going to hand over your man card. Let's just say I'm your boss and you call me with a flat tire and say that you just can't come to work. I'm going to go ahead and find me somebody else that can come to work. Because if you can't even change a flat tire, I mean, why would I trust you with any of my equipment? Why would I trust you on any job if you can't even change a flat tire? Well, I don't got the money for a flat tire. Well, then I can't trust you. If you're not financially literate enough to know that you need a spare fucking tire, that is like the minimum thing you need is a spare tire. We're putting that in D tier. It is a horrible excuse. I would never call in to work with a flat tire. I might call in and say, hey, I'm going to be late because I got a flat tire, but I'm coming. But that's as far as I'd go with a flat tire. Come on, man. I know some of y'all's wives and girlfriends change your fucking tires for you. We got migraine. I think you can use migraine one time. I don't know. Tell them you tried to put your hard hat on and it's too much pressure, boss. I ain't gonna be able to wear my hard hat. I can't wear my PPE. The glasses made my eyes hurt. I think that's one of those excuses. Just like vehicle won't start, you can use a migraine one time, but they're expecting you to get over that migraine. All right, some of them are expecting you to come to work with a migraine. I've been there too. I have been there. I had a derrick can working for me one time when I was running a rig. He would get migraines. And he would get migraines to the point where he would puke. And this motherfucker would be up on the monkey board or the tubing board. We called it a monkey board. Puking off the back of it because his migraine was so bad. And he'd still be getting after it. Well, I was a working son of a bitch. So I think migraine, if you want to stay home and drink some beer, whatever you want to do for that day, and you need an excuse, migraine will work. I think it'll work for most people. I think it'll work one time. You can use it one time. Now, if you build up, I guess it's kind of like food poisoning, though. If you build up a reputation for having migraines, you might can get away with it more than one time. But I think most people, it's just going to be a one-time excuse. We're going to put it in B tier. We're going to move on from migraine. And then we got doctor appointment. I think doctor's appointment, you can use it more than one time for sure. They don't know what you got going on. They shouldn't be asking what you got going on. For all they know, you could be stuck in the wrong body, the wrong gender, and you're transitioning. You can come up with anything, especially if you're an electrician, because I think that is acceptable in that industry. The sky is the limit with this excuse. But You can't overuse it. Unless you actually legitimately have something going on. I wouldn't use doctor's appointment every week, right? I wouldn't take a week off to go to the doctor's appointment. Unless you like legit have something going on and you can actually prove them and you're actually taking off work to go to the doctor. But if you're just taking off work to have a beer 12 or 30 or whatever, I wouldn't use doctor's appointment, but maybe once a month because they're going to get suspicious. They might start wanting doctor's excuses and all that. They have the right to ask for doctor's excuses and all that stuff. So I would say doctor's appointment. I'm also going to put that in B tier because it's just one of those you can't really. It's hard to choose between A and B, honestly. It could go into A. It really could because you could use it once or twice a month. Let's put it in A because you really could use that excuse once or twice a month for a while, right? If they start getting suspicious, maybe you cut it out. But I think you could use it once or twice a month. So we're going to put it there. And we'll move on from doctor's appointment. Overslept. If you're calling in and saying you're not coming to work because you overslept, they're going to probably tell you to go on back to sleep tomorrow too. Because I would imagine they're going to find somebody else. Or at least I would, right? If I'm running the show and you call me and tell me you not coming to work because you overslept, I'm going to tell you to go on back to sleep and stay asleep. And you can sleep tomorrow too, buddy, because I don't need you no more. So I think overslept, we're going to put that bad boy right on down there in the D tier because that is definitely not a good excuse, man. 100%. If any of y'all young bucks are watching this, some of y'all ain't even old enough to work yet, oversleeping is not a good excuse. As a matter of fact, that is a damn good way to piss off the people you're working for. If you oversleep, it's best to come up with a different excuse as to why you're late, honestly. Stuck in traffic. My dog caught on fire. Or my tire was flat. I had to change a flat tire. Or something like that. Just don't call them and say, hey, I overslept. I'm not coming to work. Or I'm going to be late. It's not going to work out either way. Next on my list, we got hungover. All right, some of y'all can call in hungover. That's because you're buddies with who you're working for, maybe. But I'm going to put hungover. As much as I would love to call in hungover, I'm going to put it in I'm going to put it in D tier because that is a horrible excuse to miss work. You're just going to piss somebody off. All right, that is the same category as overslept. Don't call in hungover. Call in sick. Call in, tell them you're puking everywhere. Never call in and say, hey, I can't come in because I'm hungover. The best thing to do is just go to work hungover because you're getting paid to be hungover. Okay, think about that next time you don't feel like drinking that night or the night before because you don't want to be hungover. Brother, you're going to go to work and get paid to be hungover. There's nothing better than that. All right, tell them when you get there, just tell them you ain't feeling so good and don't expect much out of you or whatever. But you made it. You made it, you know. Next on my list, it's too cold. Brother. It's too cold is going to go right on down there into D2. We don't even have to talk about that one much, right? That is in the same category as hungover and overslept. Do not call into your job and tell them you're not coming in because it's too cold. Brother, they're going to find somebody else real quick, big dog. I'm telling you right now. We're going to move on from too cold. Don't do it. That is a horrible, horrible excuse to call in. Next one is it's too hot. Guess where that one's going? Right into D tier. It's too hot is also a horrible excuse, brother. Maybe if you called in with swamp ass because of the heat, like you got hot overnight in your sleep, you got swamp ass now, and you can't. I don't know, man. That still ain't gonna work. They're gonna tell you to stay home again tomorrow, big dog. If it's too hot today, it's gonna be too hot tomorrow and the rest of the week and the rest of the year, brother. We're gonna find somebody else who don't mind the heat, big dog. Just stay at the house, man. Enjoy yourself. Have a nice life. And next we got tires are frozen to the ground. Now this is a problem that happens a lot up north of the Mason-Dixon line. Those guys with the funny accents, they say, eh, a lot. Their tires freeze to the ground all the time. It's a legit problem during the winter, man. You could call in, especially if you live up north of the Mason-Dixon line. You can call in with your tires froze to the ground. I'd say at least once a month in the wintertime because it's a legit actual problem. Tell them to Google the shit if they don't believe you. In the South, we probably had that problem once or twice a year, dude. Anytime we get temperatures below 20 a little bit and we got a little snow and ice in the forecast, brother, you can call in, big dog, tell them your tires froze to the ground. They're not going to say nothing to you. They're going to let you off, man. They better believe you. That's a good, in my opinion, that's an excuse to quit, brother. You call in and you say my tires are froze to the ground and they call you a liar. Man, I'm quitting that job, big dog. Over with. I'm staying home drinking beer for the rest of my life. So where are we going to put that? So we are going to put it in D tier only because people are not going to believe you. But I do encourage you to call in one morning for work and tell them your tires are froze to the ground. Make sure it's wintertime. They might just believe you. I mean, it's something that happens, dude. It's a legit problem. B, infestation. This is an excuse I've never used or heard used. This is something I come up with out of the blue while creating this list. And I got to think, man, if you call in that morning and tell them you got a bee infestation and you got stung all in the ass and the whole part and everything, I don't know. It's something, that's something that they would have never, I think that's something unexpected. You got a bee infestation, and I'm sure it's something that happens. All right, you may find out that morning or maybe even that night, the night before, that you have a beehive somewhere in your house. They may get you in your sleep. You may not even mess with them. They may not have bothered you before, but all of a sudden one night they hear you snoring or some shit and they feel threatened. They come get you, dude, and you wake up dead. You can't go to work if you wake up dead. Whatever, it's a bee infestation. The shit does happen. I think it's a decent excuse. I do think it is a pretty good excuse, man. I'm going to put it in C because from my experience, actually, let's put bee infestation in B, right? B for bee infestation because it is a real thing that happens, dude, and you may have to stay home and deal with that bee infestation. I think you could probably use that one time. I think you could use that excuse one time. There's no way you're getting away with it a second time. If one of my employees call me and tell me, hey, man, I'm just not going to be able to come in today. We got a bee infestation under the floor here. I'm going to be like a bee infestation, but I'm like, all right, well, hey, you stay home, brother, and you take care of it, big dog. Have you a few beers while you're at it. It is what it is. So I think bee infestation, yeah, it goes there. So the only S tier that I come up with on this list is death in the family. But that is one you can use over and over again, brother. If you're that close to your boss where he knows you didn't actually have a death in the family, you need to get a new job. There's no need in him being that close to the family. That is none of their business. What you do outside of work, what you got going on ain't nobody's fucking business at work, homie. That is my ranked list of excuses to call in. Stay home and drink some beer, man. All right, ranking the most legendary reasons to get fired. These are reasons that will either make you a legend amongst coworkers, amongst the industry, the blue-collar world, or nobody will give a shit, or it'll just be plain out embarrassing and you'll never, ever want to think about it again. So here we go. Let's get right into it. First on the list is no call, no show. This is something that people get fired for all the time. It's not really that big of a deal. I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny as shit when people don't call in and they don't show up. It's hilarious. Now, it's aggravating if that's going to leave you shorthanded on a labor-intensive job or something like that. It is annoying as hell, and it makes you want to go pay that person a visit sometime after work, whatever. But it is kind of funny. But where we're going to stick that here, just to get this started off, a no call, no show is, we're going to put it in nobody cares because it's not anything special. If somebody, hey, what happened to Johnny? Well, he didn't show up again and he didn't call in. He got fired. Oh, okay. Moving on, right? It's not anything important. So let's move on immediately to the next one. And we got drinking on the job. This one, it just depends. It can be legendary, right? So drinking on the job is a little bit more common than most people would like to believe. Just regular old drinking on the job, probably not that legendary. I mean, I think it's a story worth telling probably because it's funny. It's funny as shit. But let's just say you own the job in company equipment blasting Leonard Skinner or Hank Williams or whatever you like to listen to, and you're hanging out the fucking window of the forklift or whatever the hell, and you're just like drinking, hell yeah, motherfucker, let's get it. Now that is something worth being legendary. So it just really depends. If you're just regular drinking on the job and you're sneaking, and that just, in a way, that's kind of sad. I guess it's not sad, right? I mean, I understand it, but compared to the other example, it is kind of sad. So let's see. I think that drinking on the job, we could probably put drinking on the job. It just really depends, like I said, on how it happens. We can put it in story worth telling, right? Because it's just not an uncommon thing. I don't think it's going to make you a legend unless you do it a certain way. But this is just a really vague drinking on the job. So we're going to leave it at story worth telling, because it could be a story worth telling, or it could be something like, well, he was going out to his truck and he was just drinking a couple of beers. So anyway, let's move on from that one. This one is show up drunk. Now this one's a little different than drinking on the job. This one means you've already been drinking and you're showing up drunk. I think it's the same pretty much as or it can go in the same category as drinking on the job, because it's the same way. You can show up drunk and you can function fine, except you're drunk and maybe you're getting on some people's nerves and you're aggravating as hell. Or you can show up drunk, hop in a fucking dozer, take out some people's vehicles, take out some equipment, take out the shop. You can do all kind of crazy ass shit when you show up drunk, cuss somebody and just make a whole big ordeal, go to jail and shit, man. So let's put that one in also story worth telling, man, because I do know some guys in some of my old jobs that used to show up drunk, and it is a story worth telling, man. I tell people all the time. We get on some kind of subject like that, and I'm like, oh man, you know, old Johnny back at Reners and Roners, he used to show up drunk all the time, and man, he backed into one of the damn rigs, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have got leaving early. Getting fired for leaving early is really nothing special. People do it all the time. I think leaving early one time. Now this is leaving early without telling anybody, right? And I guess it could be leaving early every day with telling somebody, and it just gets old, and they're like, all right, look, we got to let him go. It's nothing special. Nobody's gonna be talking about it. It'll be one of those one-time things. Hey, what happened to Johnny? Well, he left early again, so they let him go. So we're gonna kind of just speed past leaving early. Maybe they're going home to get some booty. Maybe they're going home because they want to start drinking earlier. I don't know. Either way, it's something like nobody really cares, dude. Nobody really cares. The only way they really care is if they're leaving early to go sleep with the foreman's wife or something. You know what I'm saying? But we'll put that at nobody cares, because nobody really cares about that, dude. The next one is fighting on the job. This one really depends too. It's just like the drinking ones. If it is an annoying ass coworker that everybody has been wanting to whoop up on, and you finally grow the balls and you whoop up on that sumbitch and you get fired from it, I think we can put that in respectable, because it's going to be something that's talked about for days and days, right? And no matter where you go, any job you go to, you're going to talk about that. Man, Johnny whooped up on old Jerry, because Jerry, he was always running his mouth and he was better, and he was always talking about fucking his old lady all the time, and Johnny whooped up on Jerry. It's about time. He deserved it. So we're going to put fighting on the job in respectable, because I think everybody loves a good old fight, man. It is kind of weird, because fighting on the job could also be in embarrassing, depending on how it goes down. But I think in most cases, right, if it comes to a fight, it has been something that's been building up. And I think it can be respectable, because it's probably one of those guys that needs they need to be whooped up on. We got crashing company equipment. Crashing company equipment is a reason. It's a reason to get fired that is going to be embarrassing, to be honest. If I got fired for crashing something and I didn't do it on purpose, and most of the time you're not going to do that on purpose, because if they find out you're doing it on purpose, brother, you're fucked. You're more than fired. Did you hear about Johnny? He was operating the forklift at full speed, man, and he just tilted the forks down, stuck them in the ground, and the forklift done a flip. That's just fucking idiot. That dude's stupid, man. They should have been got rid of him. Yeah, crashing company equipment's going to be embarrassing. So we're going to leave that one embarrassing. We're going to move on from that. And next, we got sleeping on the job. This is one of my favorite reasons to get fired. It really is. I mean, who don't love a good nap on the job? Brother, everybody needs some sleep. None of us blue-collar men get enough sleep on the job site. Hell, even white-collar men ain't getting enough sleep. They sleep at their desk or whatever the fuck, in the doctors, in the fucking surgery room. Is our surgeons white-collar or are they blue-collar? Either way, if you get fired for sleeping on the job, I really think that nobody is going to care. It's just going to be a one-off thing. What happened to Johnny? Caught him sleeping on the job again. Oh, he's gone. All right, moving on. We're gonna hire Bobby now. I don't think sleeping on the job's a big deal. Next on the list is failing a drug test. Some of y'all ain't gonna agree with this probably. I think failing a drug test is just downright embarrassing. If you fail a drug test, it's embarrassing. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think about what you're doing. If you fail a drug test, it's embarrassing, dude. You don't want to tell people. Ask why ain't you at Reiners and Reiners anymore? Well, I failed a drug test. No, you're not going to say that. You're going to say, you're going to make up some crazy shit, man. Well, I was jamming Leonard Skinner in a fucking forklift and drinking beer and they didn't like that shit. Yeah, nobody's going to be like, well, you failed a drug test, man. I just couldn't stay off the meth. But to me, it's embarrassing anyway. If I failed a drug test, there's no way I'm telling anybody. Moving on from that one. Next, we got ignoring safety rules. I think that's one of the best reasons to get fired, ignoring safety rules. Everybody hates the safety guy. Everybody wants to ignore the safety rules. Everybody wants to tell the safety guy off, right? When he comes over there and you're doing something in that middle of an open field and he's like, you might better be wearing your hard hat. What the fuck is going to follow me, a bird? I don't think I need to wear a hard hat out in this open field. Man, you better wear your safety glasses. Why? So I'm thinking ignoring safety rules. Honestly, but it really depends because if you're doing something that can get people hurt, it can be annoying. It just depends on what rules you're breaking. Like if let's say you're doing you're in an industry that requires you to be 100 feet in the air. Just example, like a rig derrick, okay? Because I've done oil fields. So let's say you're in a rig derrick and you're hanging up a shiv and you're supposed to have that shiv tied off before you rig it up however you're supposed to be rigging it up. So that way, if you drop it, it doesn't fall and possibly land on somebody or break something down there that's going to make the job harder, stuff like that. Ignoring those types of safety rules is annoying because you're just making the job worse. You're really putting other people in danger. Let me just say it like that. Anytime you're putting other people in danger by ignoring safety rules, that is annoying. I don't agree with that. But anytime you're ignoring dumbass, stupid-ass safety rules that are clearly just there for insurance and for good looks, I'd say it can be a story worth telling. Why'd Johnny get fired? Well, he never followed the PPE rules. He never followed the PPE. He didn't want to wear his hard hat out in that open field, man. What if a bird shit on his head? It would be horrible. So we're going to put that in the story worth telling. The next one, we got spiking the coffee with alcohol. Break room coffee. If you get fired because you got caught spiking the coffee, I'm pretty sure that's illegal. So you probably going your ass to jail and shit. But I'm going to put that in respectable, dude. Because that's something you don't never hear about, right? But apparently it is something that happened. But if I hear about Johnny getting fired for spiking the coffee, that is going to be so fucking hilarious to me. That is respectable, man. I respect that. You're thinking outside the box. You might get in big trouble if some of the coworkers ain't over 21 and they drink the coffee. But them little bastards shouldn't be, digging in the coffee anyway. Keep the little green hands out of the fucking coffee. That's for the adults. So if you spike the coffee, man, I'm going to say it's at least respectable because that's funny as shit, dude. That's not a everyday reason to get fired. I like that. I like that a lot. The next one is showing up late. Showing up late can be kind of funny if you do it a lot and you just don't give a shit. It is funny, especially if it annoys the foreman or the managers and stuff. It's kind of funny. But it also can be annoying if you're dependent on this coworker for something. If you guys do a job together and you're always on time and he's always showing up late, it can be annoying, dude. But I am going to put that in nobody cares because people get fired for showing up late all the time. and nobody cares, right? It's obvious once somebody starts showing up late a lot, they're going to get fired if they're not planning on quitting anyway. So we're going to move on from showing up late. Next on the list, we got excessive phone use. Getting fired for excessive phone use. That's probably a common thing now, especially for like some of the younger folks that are just getting into the work, like just getting into adult life and actually going to work every day and learning that it's a little different than school and this is grown man business and you can't be on your fucking phone all the time. All right, if you're on the fucking forklift on your phone when I'm telling you to go up or whatever the fuck and you looking at your phone, I might come out there and slap that damn phone out your hand. Depends on how big you are. If you ain't real big, yeah, I'll probably do that. So I think excessive phone use, getting fired for excessive phone use, I'm putting that embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing. Why'd you get fired from your job? Well, I stayed on my phone too much. But yeah, I didn't think I stayed on my phone that much. Yeah, right, motherfucker. All right, you fucking pussy. Put your phone down. Grown man shit around here. We're going to move on from that one before I get too pissed off. Starting a workplace rebellion. I think that is hilarious. I guess that would be like a union. If you try to unionize, I guess they can fire you over that. But that is funny as shit. We're going to have our first legendary reason, dude. If I hear about Johnny getting fired because he started a fucking workplace rebellion, and I don't, who knows what they done, right? Maybe they didn't do shit for 2 days. Maybe they tried to negotiate raises. Maybe they tried to negotiate drinking on the job is legal or allowed on the company time. I don't know. Either way, it's fucking legendary, bro. If you come to me and tell me you got fired because you started a workplace rebellion and it lasted a couple days or a week before they broke it apart or however they done it, dude, you're a fucking legend, man. I want to hang out with you. Let's move on from that one. Next, we got cussing a customer. Depending on what industry this is in. I guess every industry has a customer. This can apply to any industry you're in. All right, whatever you call a customer. If you got an annoying ass customer and Johnny goes over there and cusses that motherfucker out because he won't leave y'all alone, he's annoying. You better not get that equipment over here on my ditch. Yeah, shit like that. And Johnny has enough of it and he goes over there and tell him to stick that ditch up his fucking ass and pisses all in his ditch and stuff like that. I think that is, I'm calling it legendary. We're going to put cussing a customer in legendary because there are those customers that you want to cuss. If you want to see them get cussed, and when they get cussed, you're like, yes, you know, that music starts, the angel music starts playing. You're like, hell yeah, Johnny. Johnny did his thing, bruh. He took a sacrifice for the team and he cussed that motherfucker out. Now he got fired, he's gone, but he will forever be a legend in the company, dude. Johnny's story will be passed down for generations, cussing out Karen. Moving on, y'all. We got cussing a manager. This could be anywhere from story worth telling to legendary. It depends on what kind of manager it is or foreman, you know, management position. It depends on if they're an asshole, if they're just they're just dumb and they're just in their position because they knew somebody, so they're just stupid. Or, I mean, they could be a really good manager and Johnny cussed him out because him and Johnny don't get along for some reason. Maybe Johnny's just stupid, right? Maybe Johnny don't know how to do his job and the manager has to kind of stay on him and Johnny's just cussing him out. So this really could be anywhere from story worth telling to legendary. We will put cussing a manager, we'll put it in story worth telling because it really just... I don't know, man. I don't know because anybody who gets fired for cussing a manager out, I think that story is going to be told for generations. It really is. It's going to be passed down to the young as they come into the company. Hey, you remember when Johnny cussed out old Larry over there and Larry was, oh, you remember that shit? It really is. It really is, dude. So the way I'm going to grade this one is because it can be anywhere from story worth telling to legendary, we're going to put it in the middle of those two at respectable because it's respectable. All right, having the balls to cuss a manager out is respectable. A lot of people don't have the balls to do that. Whether they're in the right or the wrong, they don't have the balls. They're not going to tell the manager no about anything. They're yes men, and they'll just end up having to quit because they just don't have any balls. They're not going to cuss the manager out. So getting fired for cussing the manager, we're going to put it in respectable, y'all. Last one on the list, we got punching a manager. This could be the same as cussing a manager. No, it has to be above story worth telling. Anytime it's physical contact involved, it's going to be story. I mean, at least respectable. It's above story worth telling for sure. I almost want to put it in legendary because that is something that I don't think it's real common. I really don't. It's something that you would think would be real common with all these asshole managers because a lot of people let that power go to their head, you know, so you would think that would be common. They talk to people like they're in a comment section or something all the time, man. I'm going to put punching a manager. I'm putting it in legendary, dude, because if you get fired for punching a manager, that story will be told for generations, not just at that company, but it is going to spread across the industry, different industries. Fucking AutoZone delivery drivers are going to hear about it. It's going to be a big thing, punching a manager. Man, did you hear about Johnny? Man, he fucking punched Larry. It's about time. Then he went and fucked his old lady. So I think that's legendary, y'all. All right, today I'm ranking workplace rules. Y'all, I hate just about every workplace rule there is. But let's get right into it. The first one on the list, we got no sitting while on the clock. Is that a challenge? I swear. Please, come and tell me I can't sit down if I get tired. Tell me I gotta like clock out or some shit if I'm about to sit down at work. Now, I understand for some reason, like gas station cashiers and shit like that, they're not supposed to be sitting down for whatever reason. That's the stupidest, dumbest shit ever. You can buy a tall stool and you can still like ring people up and stuff just as good as you could if you were standing up. I don't know. I guess it's you don't want your employees to get lazy or if it's some kind of power trip bullshit. I don't know. I don't agree with no sitting while on the clock. And this is like vague, right? If you're thinking of gas station cashiers or whatever, maybe it's a little more understandable, but just vaguely no sitting while on the clock, we're going to put that in kind of dumb. That's kind of dumb. And if you tell me, if you come up to me, a blue collar worker working my ass off and tell me I can't sit down on the clock, brother, that's a challenge. I accept your challenge. And I'm sitting my ass down on the clock for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Let's move on from that before I get pissed off. You got to ask permission to leave early. I don't like to ask for permission for anything, right? I'm a grown-ass man, and I like to do grown-ass man things, which is whatever I want to do. Now, I understand I'm at work, and maybe they need to know if I'm leaving, but if somebody gets on to me like, hey, you got to tell somebody when you're leaving early, that kind of pisses me off and just makes me want to leave even earlier the next day. You know what I'm saying? But it is kind of an understandable rule. There are good reasons why you really would need to not necessarily even ask permission to leave early, but let them know you're leaving early, right? That's the way I look at it. I'm not asking permission to leave. I'm just letting you know. I'm being nice and letting you know I am leaving early. I mean, write me up or fire me. I don't give a shit. I mean, I got some cold beer at home and it's not going to drink itself. So, but anyway, let's see where we're going to rank this at. Asking permission to leave early, we're going to put annoying, but necessary. The reason it's annoying is because you're grown, but it is necessary most of the time, right? Moving on from that, we've got no talking while working, brother. Brother, when I was on the rigs, there was this crew that we heard about on another rig, on another company, right? We were all in the same field, but it was an oil rig for another company. The rumors were that this crew was not allowed to talk during work at all because their tool pusher foreman was just that big of an asshole. Now, this is probably exaggerated. It was probably exaggerated, right? It's probably not true. But I remember even back then, as a young man in my early 20s, thinking, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, tell me and my crew we can't talk. It's not gonna go well, dude. So I don't know, man. No talking while working. I think anybody in any field, white collar, blue collar, yellow collar, orange collar, would say that is absolutely a power trip rule. That is stupid. That is dumb. Whoever comes up with a rule like that, no talking at work, probably the best part of them ran down their mama's leg. I'm just going to be honest and just say it just like that. All right, let's move on from that before I get too pissed off at that dude. These piss me off. Attendance point system. What is this, fucking elementary? Is this junior high? Brother, I ain't been to school in over 15 years. I don't give a damn about no attendance point system. You lucky I'm here today. You lucky I'll be here tomorrow. You're just lucky to have me, all right? Be happy. I don't give a fuck about no attendance point system. We ain't even got to spend much time on this one, attendance point system. Come on, dude. That's ridiculous. Attendance point system is ridiculous. I know it's something to make people want to attend every day and be on time every day because they get rewarded. Oh, look, I got a plaque and my picture's on the wall. I'm the employee of the month. Fuck that, dude. Some white-collar shit or something. I don't know what that is. Moving on from that one, we got clock out for lunch. Oh, this one really pisses me off. All right, so this is a personal opinion. This is the way that I think about clocking out for lunch. I'm at work, working for you. I'm giving you my time for money. I have to eat to live, do I not? Right? If I don't eat, I don't live. If I don't eat a lunch, most of the time, I'm not going to be as productive because I'm going to be hungry as hell and thinking about food. So not only should I not have to clock out for lunch, but you should have to feed me, and it should be a good lunch. That's just the way I look at it. You employing me, you've got me out here. I don't want to be here. I would rather be at home with my family, but I do have to work to live. That's not your fault. But you've still got me working for you, and I'm trying to do a good job for you. I think that you should be buying me lunch, and I should not have to clock out for lunch, and I should still get at least a 30-minute lunch. I would love an hour lunch or longer. But, we'll take what we can get. That's just my thoughts on the situation. So for me, I think that a clock out for lunch is going to be kind of dumb. I think that's kind of dumb because, like I said, you shouldn't have to clock out for lunch, and they should honestly be buying you lunch. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you agree or disagree? Moving on from that, we have got clean up your work area or your job site, your office before you leave every day. This one, I mean, it's not too bad. I understand why the rule is in place at some places because if you don't have a rule like that, it can get out of hand, right? You got some workers, they get lazy and they'll start letting shit pile up and clutter up, especially if you got like an office job and paperwork starts folders, paperwork, everything starts just cluttering up. And the same thing on like construction sites and everything, man, leaving shit everywhere, not throwing trash away, not putting tools where they need to be, things like that, right? Not organizing things. It can get way out of hand. So the rule, because I've been in management, right? I've been in management many, many times, and having a messy work site, not only is it annoying, it can be dangerous. It can get people hurt, especially like in blue collar jobs. White collar, it's just annoying. It won't necessarily get you hurt most of the time, but it is annoying. So we're going to put clean up before leave in annoying but necessary, because it is annoying to the people who have to clean up, and some people don't give a damn about cleaning up. Anyway, moving on from that, we got drug tests. So this one's kind of, I don't do any kind of drugs, all right? I don't even smoke Mary J or I don't even smoke reefers. That's what I'm trying to think of. Reefers, Mary Jane, weed. I just don't do it. Not saying that I haven't before. It's just not my thing, right? I'd rather drink alcohol, rather drink some beer, a few beers after work. Now, in my opinion, marijuana is not even a drug. It shouldn't be tested for. So let's exclude marijuana while we're talking about this category. And let's just say it's other drugs like, the hard shit. I think it's very necessary. I don't want no fucking drugged out, tweaked out motherfucker. I've had them when I was on the rigs, man. They've hired some people that somehow slipped past the drug test. There are ways to do it. Some of y'all know how to do it. And got on the rig, and they're out there just tweaked out their fucking mind, almost getting people killed, getting people hurt, dropping shit, 100 foot out of the derricks, almost killing people. So I think that drug tests, we're going to put it in make sense, because I like it. That's excluding marijuana, because I just don't see that as a drug. Now, you can, just like alcohol, you can overdo the marijuana. Obviously, too much of anything is bad for you. So excluding that, we're putting drug tests and make sense. We're going to move on from that. We've got uniform required. Uniform required. This only makes sense in some industries. I would say if you need to look professional for some reason, let's say you're a lawn care company and you're doing landscaping and stuff. Sometimes it helps to wear a uniform and look professional, right? Although most people that are in landscaping and shit, man, they come right out of drug courts and come right out of jail and straight out of high school. So that would be one reason why you'd want to put them people in a uniform. You don't want, because if you just let them run wild, these motherfuckers going to be out there in tank tops, no shirts, fucking cut off jeans, shorts. It's going to be wild. They already ain't got no damn teeth, one or two teeth in their head as it is. So you don't want to let them run wild. You may want to put a uniform on them some bitches because you're going in, you're in people's yards. And let's say I come outside and my landscaping crew that I got, let's say I hired you, your contractor, your landscaping crew, and you're going to mow my yard. And I come outside and I look at your crew and, you know, 2 or 3 of them are shirtless with cut off jeans, shorts, big long ass socks up to their knees and fucking old ass tennis shoes. And then a couple of them's got tank tops on and shit. And they're all fucking smoking and fucking hot, you know, using their prison voice. Prison voice is like a really loud, ghetto ass sounding voice if you don't know that. I'm going to be like, nah. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm going to find somebody else. But if you guys show up and you're nice and dressed up in uniforms and your khaki pants with your belts on and all that, and they can use their prison voices then, but I'm still like, you know what? This ain't bad. I think these guys are going to do a pretty good job. So I think uniform in certain situations is required, but sometimes it's just a little bit of overkill. Let's put it in kind of dumb. We'll put uniform in kind of dumb. Because if I have to wear a uniform, I'm going to be one pissed off motherfucker. But like I said, in some industries, hey, you need a uniform. In some industries, you don't. I mean, a lot of white collar industries, you need a uniform. So let's move on from the uniform. We got mandatory overtime. I fucking hate mandatory overtime. I wish all overtime, anything over 40 hours ought to be strictly voluntary, and it should be a law. They should not, nobody be able to make you work over 40 hours if you don't fucking want to. And if they can't find nobody to replace you, tough fucking shit. That's just the way I look at it. Oh, the younger generations are lazy. They don't want to work. Fuck you, dude. All right. We know you missed every birthday. We know you missed every school program. We know you missed every event in your child's life. That's why the motherfuckers are off running around on meth right now, okay? Be present in your child's life. Me, as a dad, I don't give a fuck about no overtime. Now, if I want to work overtime, if I want to make extra money, that's one thing. But if somebody's sitting there telling me I gotta work Saturday and Sunday and that, you know, that's gonna put me at 70, 80 hours, that's some fucking bullshit. Fuck you. I'd rather go home and be at my kid's birthday. So that way they're not running around on fucking meth, tweaking around the fucking town, having 5 or 6 kids that they're not gonna take care of, that I'm probably gonna have to fucking take care of. Fuck that, dude. So anyway, we're putting mandatory overtime. We're putting mandatory overtime in ridiculous, dude. I think it's ridiculous. Fuck it. I'm here for a good time, not overtime. That's just the way I look at it. Anyway, we got to move on. That's pissing me off, too. Next, we got no earbuds and no headphones. That's stupid. All right, so there an argument can be made, all right, for certain blue-collar trades. Now, white-collar, I don't see why there would be no earbuds and no headphones allowed. I don't see why. I've never worked white-collar, though, so maybe some of y'all can elaborate in the comments as to why you wouldn't be able to wear earbuds other than just some fucking power trip or something. But in certain blue-collar trades, I guess it could create a dangerous situation where you need to hear what's going on, and instead of being able to hear what's going on, you know, you got Creed blasting full fucking volume, ruining your hearing, giving yourself like a bad case of tinnitus. I already got that, you know, as it is, so fuck it. I might as well just turn the shit way up. But yeah, certain situations it can be dangerous, but I think no earbuds and no headphones rule like completely is fucking stupid. let's say you work in a job. I'm going to use the rigs again because that's just what I know. It's what I'm experiencing. Let's say you're sitting on and I'm going to use work over rig. Let's say you're sitting on the pump and you need to be able to hear the pump change tune, right? Maybe it bogs down or it just fucking speeds up wide open. You need to be able to hear that so you can either shut the pump down or catch another gear or something like that. And if you can't hear that, it could get dangerous. You could have blowouts, stuff like that. It's been a long ass time since I worked on the rigs, but that's just an example I can think of. So we're going to go with the earbuds. We're going to go with annoying but necessary, only because in certain trades, certain blue collar trades, it really is necessary, man. Maybe like linemen and stuff like that, they probably need to be able to hear each other. That's probably a better example, right? Linemen probably need to be able to hear each other and whatever. Whereas like loggers who are just driving their skidders and shit, they're probably good to go. Fucking put your earbuds on, turn you fucking Stained on or Young Boy, whatever the fuck you listen to, and get after it, big dog, because all you got to be able to do is see. Most of the motherfuckers act like they can't see anyway, but it is what it is. Moving on from that, we got no cell phone. The use of a cell phone, like no cell phone completely, I think is garbage, but like it could be, I think limiting the use of cell phones in certain industries and certain job sites, I think is okay. Because you got motherfuckers straight out of high school that will just they'll just stay on their phone. I've seen it. They're not paying attention to what's going on. They're not learning nothing. They're just on their fucking phone. If you say something to them about it, it pisses them off. They think that they're like entitled to be on their phone or some shit. Like it's not a big deal. No, man, the boss he fired me because he said I was on my phone too much, but I don't think I would. Yes, you was. Yes, you was. You're a fucking liar. You know damn well you was on your phone the entire time. Shut the fuck up. You need to work, dude. All right, leave your phone in the truck. If you're that addicted to your phone where you can't even do your job, leave that motherfucker in the truck. It gets really ridiculous. It gets ridiculous. So it's really hard to say where to put the no cell phone because like me, I can, I'm able to use my cell phone at work to, I don't overuse, like, right, if something important's going on, I'm not on my phone, but if nothing's going on, well, I've got my phone, right? So if it's a rule that is like no cell phones completely, no matter what's going on, I think that is going to go into, I think it's going to go into ridiculous. I don't know, though. It could go in kind of, oh shit, I have moved. I think it could go in kind of dumb. No cell phone completely. Now, this is no cell phone completely. We're going to put that in kind of dumb because it can be kind of dumb. But sometimes it's understandable, but I'm putting it in kind of dumb because, you know, if you're telling a grown-ass man he can't have his cell phone, I just think that's kind of dumb. As long as he's using it, during like slow time or break time or whatever the hell. But if, let's just say they're taking their 15-minute break and he's got his cell phone and he's over there, blah, 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 and you fucking run over there full speed and you're like, no cell phones on the job site. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous, dude. Anyway, moving on from that, we got safety glasses required. It depends. If there's obviously, right, and I think everybody's going to agree with this. If it's a situation where safety glasses are something that's going to protect your eyes in the situation and with what's going on at the moment, yeah, wear safety glasses, right? If you're grinding on something with a grinder, if you're maybe even beating on something with a hammer, where sharpening on stuff can come out, I would say safety glasses are necessary then. But if it's just a thing where it's like you got to wear safety glasses all day, 24/7, you cannot take them off no matter what's going on, no matter what you're doing, that's fucking stupid. That's pushing it, and it pisses me off. It really does, because the motherfuckers fog up all goddamn day. Dude, the whole time I was on the work over rig, we had to wear the safety glasses. So fucking stupid because they just fog up. They make it more dangerous. The majority of the time, nothing was going to get in my fucking eye. Now, I understand if I'm grinding on something or whatever, like I said, but the majority of the time, I'm just tripping pipe and shit, dude. I don't need no fucking safety glasses. It just fogs up the fucking, and then it gets more dangerous, and you got to shut the job down just to clean the glasses, and then the fucking driller gets pissed off because you got to shut the job down to clean your glasses. I'm getting too worked up over the safety glasses. We're gonna put safety glasses in, and we're gonna put it in kind of dumb. Okay? And kind of dumb. It could go in annoying but necessary. because a lot of the times they are necessary, but more often than not, they're just wanting you to wear safety glasses just to wear safety glasses. Seriously, they love seeing you wear safety glasses. I don't know what the big deal is. Anyway, moving on, we got steel toes required. Depending on the industry, right? White collar people, well, even with the safety glasses, like white collar people are not gonna have to wear safety toes. But most blue collar industries, steel toes are going to be required for the job. And a lot of people think that steel toes are to keep your toes from getting smashed. While that might be part of their job, the actual reason you wear steel toes is so that it will cut your fucking toes off if something heavy enough lands on your boot to cut your toes off. The steel toes are meant to cut your toes off so that you don't get stuck under whatever is crushing your toes. They're not really to prevent your toes getting crushed. So that's a big misconception in a lot of blue collar trades between a lot of people. No, they're meant to cut your toes off. I think they are necessary for most blue collar trades. We're gonna put it in fair, because I think that anything dealing with anything super heavy like that could fuck up your feet, you definitely need to be wearing steel toes, because what you don't want to do, again, using the rigs as examples, let's say we pull a double out of the hole and we're going to stand it back and it lands on your fucking toes. What you don't want to happen is your foot to be stuck underneath that pipe. Your toes are fucked either way. They're fucked. If that pipe lands on your toes, they're done for. They're fucked. So it's much better for that steel toe to cut them clean off and you can just come up out of the boot than it is for that pipe to land on your toes and they're just crushed and they might rip apart or pull apart. Who knows what would happen in that situation. So it's much better to have the steel toes on so that they cut your toes clean off. Anyway, moving on from that, we got to show up 15 minutes early. Anytime somebody's telling me I got to be there 15 minutes early and I'm not getting paid, I'm going to just, give them the old fuck you, buddy. Now, if you hadn't have told me to show up 15 minutes early, let's say that wasn't a rule, I probably would show up 15 minutes early. Maybe I have an authority problem, I don't know. But if it is a rule to show up 15 minutes early and I'm not getting paid to be there for that 15 minutes early, well, I'm not going to be there 15 minutes early. I might be there 15 minutes late. You know what I'm saying? I might show up drunk because that pisses me right the fuck off. And I'd say show up 15 minutes early is going to go right there in power trip. Now, if they're paying you to be there 15 minutes early, hey, that's fine. That's fine. But most of the time, a lot of these places, when they have that rule, and I've worked at places that tried to have that rule, they're not paying you for that. They just want you to be there 15 minutes early. Now, I do understand. I mean, a lot of people need that rule, right? There are certain people that need that rule because they'll show up fucking 30 minutes early. 30 minutes late every day. But anyway, hard hat required. This can be put in the same category probably of safety glasses required. And it could also be put in the same category as steel toes required, because I would say a hard hat is almost as important. Maybe it is actually just as important as steel toes. Maybe it's even more important than steel toes and more important than safety glasses. But also, all of this just depends on the fucking situation you're dealing with, man, because sometimes safety glasses can be more important than steel toes. It really just depends. But I would say a hard hat, when that hard hat is necessary, when something could actually fall on your head and fuck you up and make you wish you were dead. Maybe you're not dead, but you wish you were because you're fucked up now. I would say a hard hat is probably annoying but necessary. It could be put in fair up there with steel toes required. It really and truly, maybe I should have made these two different a little bit, because steel toes required also can be annoying but necessary, whereas a hard hat required could also be fair. It also makes sense. Steel toes also make sense, but as a matter of fact, let's put steel toe, because steel toes make sense whenever you're working in an industry with shit that can fall on your feet and you need to get up out from under that shit. You don't want your toes crushed. You want them to be cut off. We're going to put hard hat required in fair, and we're going to put safety glasses in annoying but necessary. Is there anything else that needs to change? So this is the list now. We've changed a little bit of it. I think that makes a little bit more sense. And let's move on to our last one on the list, which is no beer at work. This is a stupid ass rule. As a grown man, whether we're blue collar workers or we're white collar workers or whatever other kind of collar workers, I believe we should have a couple of beers at work for lunch or throughout the day or whatever. It's going to increase productivity at least by 100%, more than likely 200%. No group of grown men have ever drank beer together, got together and fought each other. No, we all normally get along. And we all get along when we're drinking, all right? Attitudes would be better. Moods would be better. Less depression. I mean, everybody would just be so much happier. So no beer at work is absolutely a power trip. If you work for a company and there's no beer allowed at work, that is absolutely a power trip. Fuck them. Start your own company and allow beer at work. Make it mandatory. Make it mandatory. But hey, if you made it this far in the video, y'all, thank you. Consider liking, subscribing, turning the bell icon on. That'd be awesome. And look, man, it's late. I've been drinking a good bit. I ain't gonna lie, I've been drinking a lot. Y'all have a good night, day, evening, whatever it is where you at, man. I love y'all, and I will see y'all on the next one.